welcome back, 1851 world. Or more so, I'm welcoming myself back because I've been missing for the last 2 weeks. Many of you probably have too. Thank you to all of those who stopped me at the annual International Franchise Association's conference and said, hey, I love seeing you on the Weekly Sizzle. Next year, I'll be bringing 8x10 so I can sign autographs. No, that's not a good idea. Anyway, this week, and I'm going to take it old school. I'm going to bring up our paper edition. I should have this on an iPad, right? Well, whatever. We're going to mix traditional, partly because I'm not wearing my glasses, and this will allow me to see the large print. So I'm going to go through my column, which was titled Goodnight IFA Convention 2016, what I learned, and just give you guys a little bit of insight into the conference. You can find this article, if you see it, right? You can find this on the sites. If you want to read more, feel free to share it. It should give you some good content. And feel free at the bottom, if I can show you, at the bottom of the story, we actually have this commenting feature, see? And would love for you to share your takeaways as well. So, here they go. 1851 is alive and well. The buzz surrounding our publication is loud. Everyone seemed to be talking about 1851 this year. It's awesome because a year ago is when we were really starting to ramp up our tool, and now we have about 40 brands that are using it to tell their stories. You heard Aziz Hashim, which I'm going to get into in a second. You heard him on stage talk about the need to change the story or to tell it. You can tell your story at Our Story at franchise.org. IFA has set up a pathway for you to share stories within your system, and then they can use that as material to then take a public relations type approach to getting your story out there. So 1851 buzz is quite loud, and I appreciate everybody who's reading it. Clients seem happy. That's always good. We have many clients that we got to see, and it was great seeing all of you. As a No Limit Agency team, which is our agency behind 1851. And if you look in the background, you can always see our light bulb. We brought 11 people this year, and everyone seemed to have some great takeaways from conversations with clients. Hopefully this is a sign that financing is improving, your morale as brands are improving, your belief that you can grow is improving, your franchisee satisfaction is improving. And if that's the case, then next year's going to be just as strong as we go into Vegas in next year's convention. I had the chance to moderate a great session. Pete Lindsay from Sport Clips, wealth of information. Scott Thompson from Premium Franchise Brands. Joe Lewis stepped in. He's the general counsel for Smoothie King, and Steve Beagleman from SMB Franchise Advisors was on my panel. I thought we had a great conversation. I actually think the panel went well. We had one gentleman in the crowd, you know who you are, who kind of stepped out of line in questioning why we were derailed as a speaking session, which probably earned us some great reviews, some rave reviews from specifically him. See, the thing was, it was 45-minute late start. So we were trying to hustle up and get through our content. But at the end of the day, his argument was we were not talking about outsourced brokers or outsourced sales. And my opinion is brokers are outsourced sales, and that seemed to be echoed by our crowd. So thank you to our great panel for providing some great information in a shortened period of time. Shook hands with the leaders of our competitors. I think it's important to have those relationships. Life's too short. There's no reason we should be arguing or fighting or battling or playing dirty ball. Yes, does some of that naturally happen? We can look at any of the political campaigns that are out there, and yes, there are some negative campaigns that go against competition. But at the end of the day, life's short. Let's try to continue to get along. There's enough business for everybody. We at our golf simulator booth, we were offering $10,000 for a hole-in-one. You heard Chad Cohen mention that last week. Good thing is, seems like we're spending as an industry our time trying to figure out how to grow our franchise brands and not on the golf course, because no one was able to hit a hole-in-one. Actually, someone from our company left it 5 inches short. So I wish I could have paid that off, but that did not happen. Maybe next year. Franchise Bash was a lot of fun this year. I thought IFA did a great job at that. It was a great networking event. And maybe some of the lessons learned from the Franchise Bash, for those that are on the convention committee next year, it would be interesting to do that the first night, because I thought the conversations were great, and you're trying to find this balance of what could take place for the Taste of Franchising, something to look at. But IFA's staff is awesome. We had the ability to do some of our 1851 filming in their booth and help to tell the story in a different way. Again, ourstory@franchise.org. You should send an email to that address if you as a franchisor or as a franchisee want to be included in some of their campaigning. Content marketing is the buzz, but content marketing is already dead. You see, content marketing in the way that those brands that are doing it, and I put that in quotations, that means that they're posting content on their website. That seems to be the consensus of, let's go write all these blogs and put that up there. At one of my roundtables with Mary Ann O'Connell, we pooled the table and said, how many of you have read a blog on another brand's site? And the hands remained down. The reality is we don't read blogs. It's just, in essence, SEO content. So if you're going to do it, make sure you're not just selling yourself. Tell actual stories that might be meaningful that you can now repurpose through your other social channels. Think about the future of your brand. There was a futurist that closed out the session. I think it's important to think about where your brand's going, and there were important messages that came out of there. Aziz Hashim, thank you for still being my unicorn. I was given a voice by you in franchising. I appreciate you going to bat for me. This is the first year that I felt like I could share something. I'm not interested in getting business off of speaking. I'm interested in hopefully sharing some of the knowledge and data that I have. And I've said this before, I don't need to speak at IFA. I can use the Weekly Sizzle to share with all of you my thoughts, opinions, data points, things that hopefully help your business. And if we do that successfully, then it won't matter if we get shut out of speaking at future conferences. We have a lot to offer, and you can see it from our website. We're continuously gaining steam. Next Gen was awesome. I love the Shark Tank close to IFA. And one of the cool things that happened on our site, within 2 seconds of the winner being announced, we posted the story. So it's great that a news site is being created that can give real-time information back to the franchise community that is seemingly paying attention to it. Many of the breakouts are still the same content. That I hear that over and over again. Here's the pulse. I don't think it's the evaluations that come in at the end of a session. I think the real pulse is you look around the room and watch how many people are on their cell phones. If their heads are down, their backs are curved, they're not engaged. And if that's the case, then we need to shake this stuff up. I put in there that I think the message is the reason why people look down on their cell phones is because we're going straight down the line on the content that we provide, and by doing that, we're not testing the waters with ideas that can be disruptive. Why? Because the second you do, case in point, our panel, you get bashed. And if you're going to keep bashing people that are going to give great information, then the information is going to go back to middle ground. I think we need to challenge the industry, challenge the way the convention is run. Whether it's I don't speak next year, but someone else gets the opportunity to. Don't let it be the same old. The content remains the same, and it's a lot of regurgitated pieces. And the thing that everybody talks about at the end of the IFA convention is the fact that there's great networking and great conversations happening outside of those conference rooms. So, food for thought. My team did a great job. Thank you to my teammates for making me proud. You did awesome. Sean Fitzgerald deserves a birthday every day. Happy birthday, Sean. I did hear someone call him one of the top 5 smartest people in franchise development. And Sean, I would actually put you higher than that. That's why we wanted to work with you. Social media is no longer the buzz. Why? Facebook decided to make it paid. It's hard to be social when you have to pay for it, but there are some adaptations happening. Suppliers, you deserve to tell your story too. That I would say the bulk of attendees are suppliers. If that's the case, then let's find ways for you to tell your stories. I think there's steps being taken, but hopefully we as a publication can tell your story more. We kicked it off with the IFA with a karaoke party. Adam Siegelheim from Stark and Stark. Oh my God, maybe I need to post your rendition of Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby, or maybe that thing needs to be buried in the ground, deep, 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 lost in the basement of the Alamo. That was horrible. But catch me. If you see me at one of these conferences, I'll save that video on my phone. I'm proud to call many of you my friends. I appreciate those who watch this. I appreciate those that are engaged. I appreciate those that crave great information. I think we're going to be friends for a very long time. There's still a ton of politics in the Franchise Association leadership. Aziz is breaking some of that, but after watching House of Cards, I now understand. That's all I got to say on that. Las Vegas is much easier to get to. San Antonio is a pain in the butt to get to. Next year, I think, should probably increase attendance. But let's be careful not to get in too much trouble next year. That specifically goes for my team. I miss my family when I travel. I put IFA Kids Club. I'm joking. I don't want a kids club, nor do I want to bring my 3- and 1-year-old to Vegas next year. But I do miss my family, so there's a shout out to my family. Drunks are still annoying. I really like Robert Crescente. He did a great job on stage. Authentic came to mind. He shared pictures of him as a child. I felt like he was the first real IFA CEO that I've been inspired by in my 11 years of going to the conference. Aziz's final speech was off the cuff, no teleprompter, so you don't see this, and I'm almost telepromptering in the way that I'm reading this, but you don't see that. Aziz, awesome job. You don't need to hear that from me. And finally, regrettably, I still did not get to meet the famous Jerry Darnell. Jerry, sorry. I'm sure we'll connect, or maybe the story of us never really connecting in person will continue. I did talk to him on the phone a few months ago, and I appreciated that conversation. So, those are my 25 takeaways from the IFA convention. Again, be sure to go read this story and share your own if you can at the bottom of our story. That's the Weekly Sizzle this week. We'll see you next week. Take care.